Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Perry, and I'm so glad that you've decided to join me today. This episode, we will be discussing the novel Funny Boy, written by Shyam Selvadurai. While reading this book, I noticed that the perception of love and relationships of the main character Arjie was negatively influenced based on factors of the genderqueer and critical race literary theories. I found it interesting how the impacts of a series of defining experiences throughout his childhood were seen within his character development and personal journey later on in the text. First, let's begin with the genderqueer theory. Throughout his childhood, Arjie overhears conversations from his father, which he doesn't initially understand to be homophobia that surrounds the behaviors that he displays, which his father does not find to be suitable. After being exposed for playing bride-bride with his female cousins, he reflects on his father's reaction, thinking, "It was clear to me that I had done something wrong, but what it was I couldn't comprehend. I thought about what my father had said about turning out funny. The word funny, as I understood it, meant either humorous or strange, as in the expression, 'that's funny.' Neither of these fitted the sense in which my father had used the word, for there had been a hint of disgust in his tone." Selvadurai, page 17. Through multiple of these similar experiences, he came to believe that something was wrong with him, and when he finally understood what it was that his father disapproved of by kissing Sheehan, these years of conditioning manifested themselves in internalized homophobia. After realizing the weight and intensity of what he had done, he argued with Sheehan, exclaiming, "Why should I be jealous of such a disgusting thing? The whole school knows about you. You're the laughingstock of the entire school. At least I know what I want, and I'm not ashamed of it. You should be. It's revolting. You didn't find it revolting in the garage. In fact, you were the one who touched me first. I wish to God I had never done that," I said. "I'll never do it again." Selvadurai, page 265. It is clear that the implicit abuse that Arjie has subconsciously endured for years surrounding his identity has not only caused him to experience internal conflict between what feels right and what he was taught to be right, but also shines through in his actions. He makes homophobic and harmful remarks towards Sheehan as the guilt and confusion build in him, and he struggles to accept his own true identity. The pressure of heteronormativity and homophobia present within his family damages Arjie's attitude towards himself and others. Next, the critical race theory can also be applied to explain Arjie's perception of relationships. While growing up, he experiences the tragedy of failed romances as a result of racial discrimination. Arjie overhears Radha Auntie discussing her love for Anil and Mala Auntie reasoning with her, saying, "It'll never work. But other Sinhalese and Tamil people get married." "I know," Mala Auntie replied, "but they have their parents' consent. If two people love each other, the rest is unimportant." "No, it isn't. Ultimately, you have to live in the real world, and without your family, you are nothing." Selvadurai, page 78. This teaches Arjie that his love has limitations, and something as futile as the race of someone you love can make or break the success of the relationship because of the arrogance of others. During this time, there is rioting and unrest occurring throughout Sri Lanka, which applies additional stress and pressure to interracial couples living in a society which is already divided by racism. After Arjie's home was burned down because of his Tamil identity, Sheehan visits him, and Arjie comes to a realization. "He was trying to cheer me up, and as I listened to him talk, something occurred to me that I had never really been conscious of before. Sheehan was Sinhalese, and I was not. This awareness did not change my feelings for him. It was simply there, like a thin, translucent screen through which I watched him." Selvadurai, page 302. After seeing other, less complicated interracial relationships than his fail, without them being also queer and occurring during a conflict, he understands the difficult challenge that lies ahead. Before celebrating Arjie and his partner, they will be first ridiculed based on their family's close-minded standards, which will quite obviously not be met. Overall, Arjie is taught that his family's values and opinions of race have more significance and authority in a relationship than his own love and passion. As a result of these two major influences, Arjie's original view of love being positive and sweet has been replaced with a harsh reality. Time and time again, homophobia and racism seem to overtake and ruin relationships, causing Arjie to reflect on how his views have been altered since childhood innocence. "I thought of her love comics and how fervently I had believed in them. Believed that if two people loved each other, everything was possible." Selvadurai, page 100. Slowly, this facade of love that Arjie possesses is decomposed by the real-life scenarios he experiences within his family. Therefore, he also becomes aware that his prohibited queer and interracial relationship with Sheehan cannot exist in harmony with his family life. As I gazed at Amma, I felt a sudden sadness. What had happened between Sheehan and me over the last few days had changed my relationship with her forever. I was no longer a part of my family in the same way. I now inhabited a world they didn't understand, and into which they couldn't follow me. Salvadori, page 284. Therefore, having an understanding of the expectations within his family and knowing that they are linked to their highly conditional love is deeply harmful to Arjie as he discovers his inability to achieve those standards. This causes him distress, knowing that he must eventually choose between his family or true love, when both are extremely important to him. Unfortunately, it is not possible to have both, simply because of who he loves, and this is detrimental to his character. Thank you all so much for listening. Overall, it is clear that as a result of the experiences that Arjie has gained growing up, his personal perception of love and relationships has been distorted and influenced negatively by factors of the critical race and genderqueer theories. I hope that this podcast helped you all to further analyze these elements. On that note, I'm signing off.